This is the Well Body Podcast with your host, Renee, the place where everyday women learn how to stop running on empty, reset their energy, nourish their bodies, and feel strong again. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Well Body Podcast. I'm your host, Renee, and welcome back. It's 2026, and so much has already happened. I can't believe we're here. We're in January. It's the end of the month already, almost. And I'm just getting back into the flow of recording podcasts. I have some really exciting series and episodes planned for you this year. And I'm really excited just to go all in on this podcast to really make such a positive impact on women and their overall health. I personally have been through a little bit of a roller coaster myself in the last month. Crazy times. I found out I was pregnant last year in October. And unfortunately, at 13 weeks, I miscarried. So that was a lot to move through. And I've learned a lot about myself in the last month. And I've really just kind of taken the last month to really reflect on the things that serve me the most and the things that I really want to be showing up for. And one of those things that came to me when I was recovering and just spending time in nature and being on my own and being with loved ones, but mostly I just found I needed that time for myself. I really kind of just kept thinking about how I love talking about health and how I love talking about health and making such an impact. And it only made sense to continue on with my podcast, but just go into it with so much more energy and excitement for this year. So that's exactly what I'm doing. So welcome back. If you are a regular listener, thank you so much for your support. It means the world, and it's an honor to have you back here. And if you're a new listener, welcome to the space. This is a podcast where we talk a lot about women's health, and you receive actionable advice and tips that are actually going to help you to make some change in your own life. And the topic today that I thought would be the best topic to discuss is why women are so tired and how you can reset your energy naturally. This is something a lot of people start the year going, I really want to improve my energy this year. I want to feel less tired. I'm always tired. I'm always exhausted. And so I thought it only made sense to really kind of touch on this topic today. So welcome back, and thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you. I cannot express enough gratitude that you've taken the time to even listen to this podcast, this little tiny podcast on this little island on this, complete opposite side of the world to most people, New Zealand. So if you're tuning in from around the world, I thank you again. But let's dive into our topic. Let's get to the point, because I want to be a get to the point podcast also. So fatigue, right? It's not just the I didn't sleep well kind of tired. I'm talking about the deep, nagging exhaustion that shows up like in your bones, the kind that makes simple tasks like putting your washing on or going out to your car to grab your bag that you left in there by mistake even feel harder than they should. The kind that makes you feel like you've lost your spark. And if you've been feeling low in energy, wired but tired, overwhelmed, sluggish after eating, or like you're constantly running on empty, today's episode is going to hopefully help you start to understand why that is. Because women are not just tired, we are depleted. And most of the advice out there is either too generic or it completely ignores the female body. So today I'm breaking down the real reasons behind low energy, the role your hormones and nervous system play, and how you can reset your energy naturally without extreme dieting, without punishing workouts, and without adding more chaos into your life. So let's dive in. First, let's talk about what I see every day in my clients and in the broader conversation around women's health. Women are doing more than ever before. We're working, parenting, running households, building businesses, caring for others, trying to look after our health, and often doing all of it while ignoring our biological needs. We live in a culture that rewards burnout. We're being busy is a badge of honor, and where women often feel guilty just for resting, sitting down and reading a book. But fatigue isn't a personal failure. It's a physiological sign. And when we look at what's happening from a biological level, the picture becomes incredibly clear. There are 5 key drivers of modern female fatigue, and I want to break down each of these. Number 1 could be blood sugar dysregulation. So most women are living on a roller coaster of peaks and crashes. Coffee for breakfast, skipping breakfast completely, long gaps in between meals, high carb, low protein meals, and relying on snacks to get through the day. Now, this can create a cycle of spikes in glucose, crashes 90 minutes later, so 90 minutes after eating that food, cravings, especially sugar, afternoon slumps when you get to like 2, 3 o'clock and you feel like you need to have your fourth coffee, and then constant fatigue. So your energy doesn't stand a chance when your blood sugar is unstable. Your body's going to want to find a way to get that energy back and to stop feeling the way it's feeling. The second thing can be undereating and underfueling. And this is incredibly common for women too, to undereat protein, undereat fats, not eat enough fiber, undereat calories during the week, and then overeat because the body is trying to survive and binge on the weekends. A chronically underfed body cannot produce stable energy. Your metabolism slows down, your hormones take the hit, and your nervous system goes into conservation mode. Okay? And the third one is hormonal fluctuations. So your energy changes across your cycle, and this will be because estrogen rises and falls, progesterone increases metabolic demand, inflammation will fluctuate too, and iron levels will shift. So ignoring your cycle is also one of the biggest reasons why women feel tired for no reason. It simply could be a lack of understanding what changes are occurring in your body when you are in that menstrual cycle, in that phase of your life. You might not realize that as you go through each phase of your cycle, your hormones change, which changes a lot about how you feel, how you appear, your mood, everything. So getting to know your cycle is a real flex, and it's a really important part of helping you to have better energy. It also helps you stop giving yourself so much grief just for feeling a little bit lethargic one day or low in energy. And instead of going into the I'm useless mode, you go into the I'm empathetic mode because I'm currently moving through this. I'm not going to let it stop me, and I'm not going to let it be a barrier all the time. But if I am genuinely just feeling like I need a rest, I know what my body's moving through, and I can have a bit more of an understanding with the needs of it. Helps you to listen to your body a lot more. I always say that your menstrual cycle is like your sixth sense. It helps you to understand your body's needs a lot more in depth, which I think is important as a woman. Now, the next thing is nervous system overload. So stress isn't just emotional, it can be biological. The nervous system becomes overstimulated when you're overworking, constantly multitasking, living in high alert mode, scrolling every free moment you have, sleeping poorly, not moving your body, and not getting enough daylight. When your nervous system is dysregulated, your energy is too. And I think the scrolling one is a lot of issues that a lot of people have now. Like it's become this major addiction in most people's lives. So many of my clients, the people that I work with online, have said to me that one of their goals is to have more downtime that is not involving a screen. And a lot more people are leaning into this kind of offline life in between being online. So they might be listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks, watching informative videos, but then in between that, they're trying not to catch themselves scrolling and comparing themselves constantly to others. And they're more focused on what can I do offline now? Can I read a book? Can I start a hobby or do something that doesn't involve me needing my phone? And I think this is a really positive movement, and it's going to be so incredible for a lot of people's mental health and well-being. So I'm excited to see a lot more people move into this offline world where they're not so involved with needing to be online. You know what I mean? Like we don't need to always be showing up on TikTok and Instagram and all those other platforms to be seeing what everyone else is doing all the time. Don't get me wrong, every now and again you can find some really cool stuff online and it can be really positive. But then sometimes if we find ourselves constantly comparing ourselves to others, especially in terms of like what someone's showcasing within their life, we can find ourselves feeling a little bit anxious or even depressed, which massively impacts our nervous system. Then we have a more technical reason as to why energy might be not so good, and that is micronutrient depletion. So women are chronically low in iron, B vitamins, magnesium, omega-3s, iodine, and zinc. And these nutrients literally power cellular energy, and without them, the body struggles to convert food into fuel. Now, I'm not saying you need to go and buy a whole thing of supplements just to get these micronutrients back on track. You can actually improve this through diet, and the food that you choose to eat, the food that you choose to nourish your body with, will help you to increase these micronutrients that you might be depleted in. Iron being Probably the number one reason why a lot of women feel so low in energy, which is why I put it as number one. Okay, so what energy actually is in the body? So before we talk about the tools, I want you to understand what energy actually is. So energy isn't motivation, energy isn't mindset, and energy isn't discipline, okay? Energy is a metabolic process. It's a chemical reaction. Your body takes nutrients, digests them, absorbs them, sends them to the cells in your body, and your mitochondria, which is like the energy driver of every cell you have, convert them into ATP. So that's energy, okay? So when you feel tired, something is happening in one of these systems. You're either not eating enough, you're not absorbing enough, your blood sugar is unstable, your hormones are out of balance, your nervous system is overstimulated, you're lacking the raw materials to create energy. And this is why women can't positive mindset their way out of exhaustion. Your physiology must be supported first. And that is why it's so important when you start a health and fitness journey or a health and wellness journey or whatever journey you're on, that you don't just jump straight into a calorie deficit and a high intensity interval training program. What you need to spend your time doing is getting the foundations right and learning about the foundations when it comes to your health and well-being. When it comes to nutrition, you're learning the basics and the foundations and you're getting them right and cementing them into your everyday life. Then you're focusing on how you can implement more movement, more mindfulness, more breath work into your everyday routine as well. Not just going, okay, I'm going to have a positive mindset and I'm going to start eating as little as possible and training as hard as I can. And if I'm not doing this, it means I'm not disciplined, and then I'm going to give myself so much shit for not being able to stick to it, and then I'm falling into the cycle of when I'm binge restricting. Okay? So I want you to really understand this energy on such a different level than just I'm useless, because there's a lot of reasons as to why your body, as I've just explained, can be low in energy. So how can we reset your energy naturally? So here are the foundational steps that reliably turn your energy around. And these are the exact tools that I use inside most of my programs. So the first thing that you need to focus on is your breakfast. You need to start your day with a proper breakfast. This is the most powerful energy tool for women. And if there's one thing I can get you to take away from this podcast episode today, it would be to adopt making breakfast and having breakfast every day. Now, we want our breakfast to be savory, okay? And we want our breakfast to include at least 30 grams of protein, quality fats, complex carbohydrates, fibre, and color. This will help stabilize blood sugar for 4 to 5 hours, which is going to help to prevent mid-morning crashes, and it sets your hormones up for the day, which in turn is going to give you better energy. And at the end of the day, you're listening to this podcast right now because you want to improve your energy, or you want to figure out some tools as to how you can start feeling better moving into this year. So protein. When I say protein, I'm not talking about protein bars. I'm not talking about supplementing your way into eating enough. I'm talking about you actually doing the work to cook something that is going to give you a decent nutrient profile, like eggs or Greek yogurt. Eggs mixed with cottage cheese make for a great protein start to the day. You could make an omelette with eggs and cottage cheese, mix it all together. You could even make a Greek yogurt bowl, add some seeds. That could be your protein base. Then your quality fats. Well, you've got fats in your eggs, so you could add a few little seeds on top. And then for complex carbohydrates, you could serve that with some sourdough. If you're having the Greek yogurt bowl, you could serve that with some fruit. You could have some berries in there. And then a bit more fiber. So how can you add some more fiber to that meal? Add some more veggies, add some more fruit, add some more seeds. And the more color on your plate, the more diversity you have in terms of nutrients. So this is how you can have a really positive start to your day, by having a decent savory breakfast with all of those elements. Now, if you can just start by adopting that and getting super regular with being able to do that, you're already on the right track to making great changes with your energy and your overall health. Now, the next thing, this is quite important. Eating every 3 to 4 hours rather than grazing, forgetting to eat, skipping, or snacking. Balanced meals throughout the day are going to help to keep your glucose curve smooth, which means stable energy, okay? If you're snacking all day, you're never giving your digestive system a chance to just rest. You're probably also not getting enough nutrients in each meal as well, which means you're going to be depleted of those nutrients that your body needs. And then forgetting to eat altogether, that can put you at risk of binge eating. Okay, binge eating later on because you're so hungry, so you're just finding anything you can to eat. So we want to avoid grazing, avoid snacking all day, and avoid forgetting to eat and avoid skipping meals. We want to create steady consistency throughout our day, but also make sure that we're giving ourselves a decent digestive break in between meals. Then the next thing is building meals that actually fuel you. And this is using my Foundations plate method. So half your plate vegetables, and the more variety, the more micronutrients, the more diversity for your gut. Quarter of your plate is protein. Quarter of your plate is complex carbohydrates, and a thumb size of healthy fats. Now this Foundations plate method is a great kind of universal way to build yourself a healthy plate. It's going to help improve digestion, support your hormones, and give your cells the nutrients needed for steady energy because you've got this beautiful balanced plate of different nutrients. However, some of you might be at that next level where you're actually tracking how much grams, etc. you need for each nutrient on your plate. And if you're at that level, great. You can still use this plate framework, but just make sure you're building that plate based on your needs of protein, vegetables, complex carbs, healthy fats. But for those of you who are just going, I just need to eat healthier, I don't know where to start, use this building plate method. It really does make a massive difference to how you build every meal. Now, if you can have 3 meals a day that have this plate method, you're on your way to already feeling really good. Okay? The next one is prioritizing whole food protein. Protein is essential for stable mood, stable blood sugar, muscle mass, hormone creation, neurotransmitter production, so for your mind, your brain, metabolism, and satiety, so feeling full. And we want to be aiming for around 100 to 130 grams per day, depending on your body and your training. So everyone is different in terms of their requirements of protein. And that's why I'm saying when you're starting out, start with the building the plate method of having a quarter of your plate protein. Okay, so a quarter of your plate would be either chicken or eggs or Greek yogurt or cottage cheese or beef, whatever protein you like that is whole food based. Okay, now the next one is supporting your nervous system daily. This is a big one. There are some great tools that I use myself and also get clients to use to help support their nervous system. They are simple things like 5 minutes of breath work, light morning movement, sunlight exposure, having some grounding rituals that you enjoy and you kind of do them every day or every second day, screen-free morning and night, and then slowing down your pace. There's no need to rush. If people are rushing you, are they the right people in your environment? Do you know what I mean? Slow down your pace a little bit, take a deep breath. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to regulate your nervous system enough to give your body safety. And when your body's safe, your energy improves. You're able to have the mindset and the capacity to be able to do your meal prep, make your healthy meals, commit to your exercise. Exercise feels safe. Eating healthy feels safe. Okay? A regulated nervous system is key to your healthy lifestyle. Strength training. Muscle is your energy factory. Muscle does so much for our health, but wow, energy is one of them. More muscle, more mitochondria. If you did biology in school, you know what I mean by mitochondria, but remember the mitochondria is that little energy driver of the cell, which means more ATP, which means more energy. And women who strength train consistently have dramatically better energy across their cycle also. So if you struggle in your menstrual cycle around that late luteal phase, menstrual phase, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, the luteal phase is that kind of second half of your cycle. Menstrual phase is when you're bleeding. And for some women, that time in their cycle is horrendous. It's low energy. It's hard. It's sore. It's heavy. There's headaches. There's a lot of holding you back because you feel so rubbish. But when you start to build more muscle, you actually improve your energy across the cycle. So that's a massive game changer in terms of lifestyle and life quality, right? Another reason to strength train. I love strength training. There's so many benefits to building more muscle. There's literally no reasons as to why no one should be not strength training. You know what I mean? Like it's incredible. All right. The next one is looking at your micronutrients. So if you're low in iron, B12, vitamin D, magnesium, or omega-3s, your energy will always feel flat. But before you start supplementing iron or B12 or D, it's actually really important for you to go and get a blood test or get some testing done first, because you don't want to be taking too many supplements for what you don't actually need. And you can actually overdo vitamin D and you can overdo the iron. So I would get testing done first. You can go through your doctor or you can just actually self-request a blood test, which yes, will cost you, But at least you know where you're at and you know it's safe to start supplementing these things. You don't just want to start taking supplements and then can't understand why, you skip your menstrual cycle or you start feeling really rubbish. It's actually really important not to take too many supplements unless needed. So for example, if I've looked at a client's blood test and I can see that their vitamin D and B12 and iron is super low, I will suggest for them to start taking a supplement alongside the food that I've prescribed them. But then after a while, they won't need to take those supplements all the time. However, magnesium and omega-3s are generally safe for most people to just start taking, and omega-3 is probably an everyday supplement I would suggest people to start taking. Just make sure you're buying an ethical brand. It's ethically done. You don't want to just be buying a cheap omega-3 and you're supporting a company that is massively impacting the ocean's environment. And I'm saying this because I'm a sustainable lover. I'm a lover of the environment. I'm a lover of all things Mother Nature and Earth. And so I'm always going to suggest the more sustainable option, of course. So make sure you're choosing a sustainable option when it comes to your omega-3s. Always do your research into any company that you decide you want to buy from. Magnesium, you want to be taking a magnesium glycinate. It's the best one to help with recovery and also can help with sleep as well. What I also want you to remember about supplementing though is that food always comes first and then targeted supplementation second. So try your hardest to get all your nutrients from your food first. And look, if your iron is on the lower end, but it's still classed as normal, then you could probably improve your iron through food. But if your iron is on the lower end, then there might be an occasion where you're taking an iron supplement for a short period of time, as well as trying to get your iron up through food as well. But always check with your healthcare professional. Don't just try and self-diagnose and guess your way through supplementing. It's probably going to do you more harm than good. Always kind of seek out professional help, whether it's your GP, your chosen health professional, whatever that is for you. Don't just make random decisions based on a podcast you've listened to. Okay, this is advice, these are tools, but it's also really important that you get expert advice from like a real person too, and you don't just take a book or a podcast or a TikTok reel for word. That makes sense, okay? But remember, food first. The last one is honoring your cycle. Your energy is not always going to be the same every week. So your menstrual cycle, you might feel like you want to be doing a lot more rest than you do rushing. This is the time where your body is, bleeding and you're shedding your uterine lining. And for some people in the first couple of days, that can be quite intense. So just listen to your body and listen to your needs, okay, in that regard. In your follicular phase, which is the phase after menstruation, you start to notice your energy starts to climb and you start to feel super energized. This is the time to really focus on building momentum. In ovulation, for some people, they have full power and they're going for it and they're feeling insane and on top of the world. Not the case for everyone, though. Everyone's different. And then your luteal phase is when you are still kind of got this energy and you're going at a good pace, but there's going to be a time where you start to feel that need for rest and slowing down. So when you understand your cycle and you stop fighting the female biology, your fatigue will start to improve also because you're honoring your body, listening to its needs, and you're not just being stuck in the hustle culture that everyone is lost in and feels as though they need to be in. So honor your body, honor your natural rhythms. It is another great way for you to help improve your overall energy. So energy is a habit, not a personality trait. And this is something I tell every woman I work with. You're not a low energy person. You're not lazy. You're not unmotivated. You're probably under-supported. Your body is probably asking you for nourishment, rhythm, rest, and structure. And when you give it these tools, the change is profound. The spark comes back, your brain becomes clearer, your mood stabilizes, your cycle becomes more predictable, and you feel more like yourself again. This is the foundation of everything that I teach inside of my Reset to Rise program in the Beyond the Body space. And it is something that I have always taught my one-on-one clients as well, is that when you work with your biology, everything gets easier. And when you start to stop being so mean to yourself and take a step back and just work with yourself, not against yourself, everything just starts to work so much better. So if you resonated with today's episode and you're ready to get your energy back, you can explore all of my resources at Beyond the Body on my website, which I will link below, and also in these informative podcasts, which are straight to the point to help you. These podcast episodes I have created and also will be getting guests on this year to help women and to help women like yourself just feel as though you're moving through all the noise, because there is so much noise on the internet, there is so much misinformation, and I want to make sure you're as informed as you possibly can be with information that's going to equip you with tools to help you live your best life and feel your best, because you deserve to feel your best. So if you're looking for a simple reset, deeper hormonal support, or a complete nutrition and training pathway, there are definitely some options there for you if you want help. And if you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you shared it or left a review or sent it to a friend or even subscribed along to my podcast for more. Just remember this though, your body is capable of so much when it's supported, and you deserve to feel energized, grounded, and well all the time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am so grateful for you, and I will see you in my next episode. Thanks for listening to the Well Body Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a review or share it with someone who needs to hear it. You can find more support, resources, and information on my website at www.beyondthebody.co. Until next time, I look forward to having you in the next episode.